the Cajun Turbuckle Podcast.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another live edition of the Cajun Turbuckle Podcast right here on Dirty South Entertainment. It's been a while since we've both been back together, but Rich and Haas are back together again.
Get back!
Get back!
Very good, very good. Yeah, it's been a minute, man. As you
Yeah.
can see, I'm being extremely political today.
Well,
So
you'll get your
I'm on my
wish tonight.
platform.
You'll get your wish tonight because one of the shows we're going to be talking about tonight, I think, is going to be mind-blowing, that it's going to be free on YouTube and Facebook. And then we got another show tomorrow night on ESPN. So, yeah, I mean, I found a way to keep it busy. I was able to get at least one live stream going. I brought Sean back on when we did Backlash. You missed that one. And then I did audio with Trey, which we were supposed to have Trey Tucker from the Doghouse podcast, but unfortunately he got called in for something. He couldn't make it, but he told me to put him down for SummerSlam when we get to August. So be on the lookout for that when we get to SummerSlam in a couple of months. It'll be us three.
Sounds good.
Doing that. So, but I figured, hey, we got we're gonna have a fun one to talk this morning. We got 2 predictions to do tonight. Well, this morning, one tonight, one's gonna be tomorrow. But I figured I got something we can bring up before we get to these predictions here. So, yeah, I started getting back on the AEW train just because I'm hearing, they kind of have been improving a little bit. I'm not going to say super, super improving, but they've done a couple things better than WWE. And they just had one of their top pay-per-views of the year and one of only 2 that I have to watch every single year, even if I don't keep up with AEW every year. But they had Double or Nothing this past Memorial Day weekend in New York. And before I hand it off to you, I'm just go ahead and quickly say I was actually impressed. That was probably a fun pay-per-view from them I've watched in quite a while.
Yeah, Double or Nothing was good. Yes, AEW has definitely, done some really good things in the last, let's say 52 weeks. You and I talked the last time that we talked about them going from those 20,000 seat arenas to 5, 6, 7, 8,000 seat arenas, and it goes much better for them. Now, granted, when they do their big shows like Double or Nothing, they were at the Arthur Ashe Stadium. They'll be at Wembley Stadium when they go to London, and that's okay. Do that for your monster shows. But I think that's been a smart move. And of course, Double or Nothing, they did one thing that I thought was really, really smart. Actually, 2 things that were really, really smart. They did another thing that I cannot wrap my head around. I can't stand that stadium stampede or whatever the hell they call that thing. They may as well just make it a battle royal. Put all 15 of those guys in the ring and let them slug it out for a battle royal. You could have had some really great matches with the Hurt Syndicate, the Hurt Business, sorry. And you could have had all kind of different stuff going on. As much as I'm not a Bucks fan, you could have put the Bucks into something. You could have done a lot of different things instead of throwing all 14 of those guys into one match. And and most of them are nobodies. What I thought they did do right, as much as I appreciate Darby Allin, getting that title off of him and back on MJF made complete sense. But the other part of it, and I have been a fan of this guy, you've heard me talk about him 100 times, Takeshita beating Okada, I thought was a tremendous step for him. And from what I can gather with Okada's issues now, they're going to be trying to put a program together with Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. Okay, I'm not going to be mad at that at all. If they do, they're working toward MJF and Ospreay. And what they do until they get there, let's not get stupid. Mark Briscoe, okay. Tommaso Ciampa, okay. I don't know what the deal is with this Kevin Knight thing. Because I think it's a step down for Kevin Knight to feud with Darby Allin. And it's definitely a step down to feud with quote Spitball. Um, the
Speedball.
cult of Coronet would know what I mean by Spitball.
Oh,
But I'm not a Mike. I mean, if you wanted to put Mike Bailey and Darby Allin in a thing, okay, that's fine. Let them two go over in the corner and do what they're going to do, and that's it. I think Kevin Knight's got a lot of potential. I would love to see Kevin Knight and Swerve Strickland together as a tag team. Actually, what I'd really like to see is those two against Shelton and Bobby Lashley.
oh yeah. Well, Stadium Stampede, yes. I mean, it's a very intriguing type of match. Like, it's basically like Falls Count Anywhere with like a group of guys versus another group. It could be like 6-on-6, 7-on-7, and it's just chaos. But I mean, it's a very corny match, but you will get some entertaining out of it. But I rather that. I know they're kind of the same, but I rather that than Anarchy in the Arena. Anarchy in the Arena kind of sounds like a pay-per-view to me, but I hate how in Anarchy in the Arena they'd have like music playing currently nonstop. Where Stadium Stampede, They don't do that. But they New York was being a little PG lately. Like, this was unlike any other Stadium Stampede we've seen. They didn't want them fighting in the crowd. They didn't want no bloodshed and all that. So they found a way to keep it going, but they've done more crazier shit. Like, I still call him Jungle Boy. I can't say Jungle Jack Perry, where he tried to run over, who he tried to run over with that bus with the little Jurassic thing. Was it one of the, I don't remember if it was either Mark Davis. I think it was Mark Davis he tried to run over.
Yeah, it might have been because I know those two guys have had a thing going.
Uh,
But let's be perfectly honest, Mark. Do either one of us really honestly care about Jack Perry or Mark Davis?
I like Jack Perry. I mean, look who his father is. I mean, the late Luke Perry, you know. He's a good
I
actor.
get that.
90210, 8 seconds.
Fully get it. 8 seconds, yeah. I fully get that. But I mean, when you put guys like that in a match that has Omega and the Bucks and Jericho and guys like that in there, half the other two Yahoos that are with Ricochet, to me those two guys are the male version of Jade Cargill's baddies.
Oh no, not Bishop Khan and Toa Iona.
And I love Mia Yim. I think Mia Yim is fantastic. Michin. But this whole thing with her with Cargill, no. I mean, there's a lot of people that I think they have in these things just to have them in these things because they've got 150 people on the roster and they got to do something with them. That's the reason the Andre the Giant Battle Royal was created in WWE. And I think that's part of the biggest reason why this Stadium Stampede or even Anarchy in the Arena, I get it that they want that to be their war games. Fully get that. But if they really want to make it their own and make it their war games, make it war games.
Well, that's what blood.
Keep the roof off till
that's
blood and guts. Yeah.
Hate the name though.
Yeah. Keep the roof off until everybody's in. Lower the roof, like they did with war games, with all the weapons and all that, and go from there. They just, and that's one thing I do like and did like about Double or Nothing. You didn't have anybody putting a syringe in somebody's mouth. You didn't have anybody drinking their blood or any of that kind of stuff, like you did with Swerve and Adam Page or any of that kind of stuff. You didn't have that kind of stuff going on. Did you have some idiocy? Yeah. But all in all, I'm with you. I thought that the show, you can see that things are getting a little bit better every time. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with Wembley because, like I say, I think the main event is MJF Ospreay. But I'm curious to see what's going to happen outside of that, especially with some of the injuries that they've had. Like, I know they've really been putting a rocket to Willow Nightingale, and now she's got a shoulder injury that she's going to be out for a while.
Yeah, well, like Stadium Stampede was kind of corny a little bit too. Like, I did like their little like video package they gig, like Quentin Tarantino style, where each of Jericho's members was like holding a tennis ball. You had Devil's Dance by Metallica in the background. But, man, just seeing Kenny Omega and Jericho together, it's like I would love to see them as a tag team one day. Even if it's just a one-off, that would be awesome. Because, remember, they main evented the very first Double or Nothing together in 2019 to get a title shot against Hangman at the first All Out. The food fight in the back with Satnam Singh was kind of funny. The little reunion with Leo Rush and Bobby Lashley, which I'm not a big fan of that. Whatever Leo Rush is going through, that possessing exorcist shit he got going on. I don't know how I feel about that, but I enjoyed it a little bit.
Those are the kind of things that we can get rid of. I wasn't a big Leo Rush fan to start with, but this whole demonized Leo Rush kind of no. That's why I say he's worked. Tony Khan is working on peeling stuff away. He just hasn't taken it all away yet. But we've got a little while until Wembley. We've got what about 2.5 months? 2 months? Yeah, we got about 2 months. Let's see what he peels away between now and Wembley.
Yeah, because I called it too. Like, I'm going to jump to the main event. I called it. I said MJF was going to get it back. I can't see MJF bald. Plus, I'm pretty sure he's got more movies he's filming. I know he got a movie coming out around Christmas. He's going to be in Violent Night 2 as the villain. So that's going to be something. But, man, for match of the night, I'm stuck on 3 matches. Takeshi and Okada, of course, blew it out the park. Ospreay and Samoa Joe blew it out the park. But that tag match at the end, I can't say Cage and Cope or Cope and Cage. I feel like it sounds like a can of dip. I'm still going to say Edge and Christian, but them and FTR, they kicked it off with a bang. That I Quit match was brutal. I like how they try to recreate WrestleMania 22 with Stokely getting speared through the flaming table off the apron, and then Beth got involved. But some people were iffy on all that about having them have the title reigns. Look, 25 years ago, that tag team, plus the Dudleys and the Hardys, worked magic in Houston at WrestleMania, giving us one of the greatest TLC matches of all time. And their times is coming. And hell, if you're going to give the Dudleys one more reign in TNA for glory, and you're going to give the Hardys multiple reigns in TNA and NXT, why don't you do the same for Edge and Christian? Let them do it in AEW, and now they finally put the belts on them. They might be transitional champions. I know now all of a sudden they're going into a feud with the Dogs, David Finlay and Clark Connors, which they made their statement, wanting to recreate a little 5-second pose, flash photography moment like they did in the Attitude Era. But we got a lot going into All In. I mean, now they got their little crossover with New Japan, Forbidden Door, which now you could throw in CMLL, you could throw Star Fandom in that, and you can throw the evolved version of AEW I call Ring of Honor, all in that little crossover, which, golly, that's going to be a weekend right there. When we get to the end of June, we're going to be predicting Forbidden Door, Night of Champions, and Slammiversary all in one weekend when we get to that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a busy time. All 3 of those matches you mentioned were really good. I still stand by the fact that FTR to me is the 2026 version of the Midnight Express. They could literally have matches with a mop bucket and a mop and have a decent match. Having Edge and Christian is great. Here's the problem I have. They only really have 2 other tag teams to go after that title that are legit. Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin and the Young Bucks. I think people are worn out on the Young Bucks. And for whatever reason, they just refuse to push Shelton and Bobby.
Yeah, and they've had them before. Why don't you put it back on? I mean, it ain't hard to create a tag team for Tony Khan over there. He can just put 2 random people together and just give them a name. That's what I said. I said I would love for Kenny Omega and Jericho to form a team. And not going to think of a name off the top of my head, but come on. If he can come up with Les Sex Gods with Jericho and Sammy Guevara, I'm pretty sure he could come up with something for Kenny Omega and Jericho. But here's my thing about here's a couple thumbs down I'm going to give on AEW. I mean, I know I've shit-talked them for many years, and I got nothing else to do on Wednesday nights since I moved to Thursdays with On The Go for the summer, and I want to see if they do put the rocket on Will Ospreay when we get to Wembley. But we'll find out when we get to Forbidden Door when they have the finals of that. But when it comes to, I'm going to go to the 0 hour or the buy-in, whatever you want to call it. Call it the buy-in, the 0 hour. I like how they give us some matches to entertain us, but I feel like they're kind of going the AAA route. Like, can we have at least one singles match during the buy-in? Like, does every match on the buy-in have to be a freaking tag match, whether if it's freaking 12-man, 14-man, or you just put random people together? That's all you see these days. I guarantee you the last probably 6 or 7 AEW pay-per-views on their buy-ins, their 2 or 3 matches on that buy-in are freaking massive trios matches or tag matches. And it's the same old pony. Like, you're gonna have Big Boom AJ on the buy-in with his family and the Riz and all that. You're gonna see that shit. You gotta see now him and fucking who was it? QT Marshall. Remember a couple years ago they were feuding, and now they're a tag team. And the last 2 or 3 pay-per-views they've been feuding with Shane Taylor Promotions. It's getting old. And then it's just also a key moment for social media to get the Riz a bunch of likes and to get Big Justice a bunch of likes and shit. Like, it gets old. Like, I want to drop this whole Big Boom shit. I got nothing against Big Boom AJ. I see his TikToks and reels and all that, but I'm over that. Like, put some of those minor storylines in the buy-in and give us something entertaining. Now, I'm not going to hate on the trios tag with Death Riders and the Ops. That was actually the only decent match on that buy-in. I didn't care for the other 2 matches. It's like the conglomeration to me is like a freaking 2020s version of the Union. You got Mark Briscoe, Roderick Strong, who else is in there? Orange Cassidy,
Willow Nightingale. I'm still trying to figure out where she fits into that whole thing.
Isn't Harley Cameron part of the conglomeration?
Harley Cameron was part of it. I think when her and Willow were tag champs, yeah.
Like Shane Taylor Promotions, like I was able to talk to the original Shane Taylor Promotions back in the day. Like, put these guys, like, you need a tag team to go after the tag titles? Put 2 of them together. You got Shane Taylor, Anthony Ogogo, Sean Dean, Lee Moriarty. Put 2 of those guys to go after the tag titles. Or put 3 of them going after the trios, or put 1 going after like the TNT Championship or something. Like, you can do much better with Shane Taylor Promotions than have them go in a damn feud with the conglomeration.
The bad part is I just don't. If you ever notice, Shane Taylor Promotions, all of them get 0 reaction. You couldn't, if you went and just went with audio, and you went to the intro of a Shane Taylor Productions match, I don't care if it's all of them, one of them, whatever, and you had no video, you'd be like, wait a minute, are they there? Because there is 0 crowd reaction to those guys. And I think that's the biggest problem. The people don't give 3 flying craps about them. They care a decent amount about the guys in the conglomeration to a degree.
Basically, Orange Cassidy.
They care about Orange Cassidy. They care about Mark Briscoe. They pop when Mark Briscoe hits. Wednesday night when he came out to confront MJF, they popped.
I can't hate. I'm not going to hate on Mark, but I can't see him running as a singles guy. I know it sucked that we lost Jay, but I can't see Mark without his brother. I was lucky to see them team together at Supercard against FTR before he passed away. So that was worth the trip to Dallas to go to Supercard to see that 5-star tag match. And the bullshit that happened with the woke and Jay Briscoe's issue before he passed away, and that's why they would put him on AEW television. But now he's gone. Now they're gonna let Mark do what he wants, and finally put him on TV. for his brother Shadow, and then they put the world title on him in Ring of Honor for a little while, but I can't see him being world champion in AEW. Maybe TNT champ or international champ, national champ, FTW champ, whatever freaking belts they have these days. They got too many titles in AEW.
That's true too. But yeah, I mean, and when they did the run with Briscoe and Ring of Honor as the world champ, and they handled his singles run that way, it was handled a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
But you also didn't have as many names that were bigger than his in the world title hunt. But I mean, but you were talking, we were talking about crowd reaction. Willow gets a good crowd reaction. Mark Briscoe gets a big crowd reaction. And Orange Cassidy does. But, when you look at Chuck Taylor or you look at even Roddy and Kyle O'Reilly, as good as those guys are, they get no crowd reaction. Which is, I think, is kind of why you see those guys all put together. Realistically, I think that the Costco guys get better reaction than a lot of the guys in the conglomeration or in Shane Taylor. I know they get better reaction than Shane Taylor Productions. So, but have you noticed that WWE has taken a page out of AEW's book, who took a page out of the NWA's old book with doing the matches premier live event,
Mm-hmm.
doing the free matches on ESPN or ESPN2, and then going to the real show. The last paid show, the last PLE for WWE was 2 hours and 20 minutes because they did an hour on ESPN.
Well, they used to cut down on their card a little bit. I remember last couple of years, you'd have 4 matches on the buy-in and you'd have 13 matches on the main card. I think they had maybe 3 on the buy-in and maybe 8 or 9 on the main card. And that's fair. But I think you should start an hour early. Don't start at 9 Eastern, 8 Pacific, 8 Central or 8, 7 Central. Start at 7, 6 Central. That way it ain't freaking midnight for the Eastern time zone because it was after midnight. I get, they had a holiday. They had Memorial Day the next day. Majority of everybody was off, supposedly. But on any other day, it could be a school night or whatever. Or now, if they went back on Saturdays, that'd been one thing. But they're going to stick with Sundays because WWE majority is now Saturdays, except for a 2-night WrestleMania, a 2-night SummerSlam, and Clash in Italy tomorrow, and Money in the Bank tomorrow. Not tomorrow. There'll be a Sunday too when we get to Labor Day weekend. I get why they make AEW's more of a Sunday thing. They're kind of a traditional classic. Same with TNA, but
there's a lot of stuff that TKO is doing. Remember, and this is what has me really kind of thinking that TKO may be thinking they may have some issues. And as much as I can't believe I'm saying this, remember when Vince was in charge, he was proactive instead of reactive.
Mm-hmm.
He would do stuff first. And really the first reactive thing he did was when Nitro started going at 7:58, and so they aired 2 minutes earlier than Raw.
Yeah. But
he started doing, if you've noticed, they're back to doing the Sunday pay-per-views. Why? Because AEW is doing Sunday pay-per-views. They're seeing that there's an audience there that, AEW's last pay-per-view had over 200,000 buys. That's a lot of eyeballs that are watching that product that WWE TKO wants watching the product.
Well, see, everyone's got a weak point or something. We've always said AEW's problem was they don't know how to do storytelling. They'll just randomly put people in a match just to try and outdo and be more about wrestling than sports entertainment. They just don't know how to create ideas, and they want to spoil us a little too much. TNA's problem is more of a technical issue because I couldn't tell you how many they have everything they need to be a good program. It's just they got technical issues a lot. There are times the music might be off when they're cutting promos or backstage on the mics might cut off. It's more of a technical issue for TNA. NXT's problem is they don't know how to, like, I wouldn't say don't know how to build new stars. They just don't. They just let them freely do what they want, where they make the fans talk shit on them, and then within 3 months they finally give them a gimmick or a character or something where now people want to love them. And then we all know WWE's problem is freaking greed. They just, all they care about is money, money, money. Everything's overpriced, and they just give us the shittiest lineup possible just to make their damn money. That's what I believe is wrong with everything here. I mean, you might have different agreements on all the companies I've mentioned, but
no, I mean, you're right. I think you hit the nail on the head with pretty much all of them. You know, you can see where I firmly believe that Tony Khan is actually letting two guys get into his ear as far as getting better with booking, storytelling, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I think Daniel Bryan is in his ear hard, Bryan Danielson. And I think Taz is in his ear. Because Taz did a lot of the booking in ECW. Him and Tommy Dreamer. And I think Taz is in his ear too, that, you know, this crap don't make sense and that kind of deal. But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. But, you know, and we got a couple of, you know, cards coming up that some of the stuff we're going to be scratching our head about too.
Yeah. I'm going to throw one more curveball. Ring of Honor's problem is they don't know how to advertise. People forget Ring of Honor's still a thing and they exist, but you got to, like, go to that, what's that newly thing, My AEW, something where you want to watch Ring of Honor tapings, or you can go to the Ring of Honor app and watch them online. They don't ever, you don't hear them advertise nothing on TV, anything, and I keep forgetting they even still exist.
Yeah.
But
you're right.
I don't watch Ring of Honor. I tried to get into it when Tony Khan bought it, but it's like Evolve. It's you gotta search and find it. But
no, you're right.
It's not worth watching. I'd rather AAA. At least AAA gives it for free on social media. Ring of Honor, you got to pay a subscription. Evolve is on Tubi, but it's just Evolve is basically the guys are about to call up to NXT, so it's like I can wait till see them on the CW instead of going on Tubi to watch an hour of this and that. But one more thing I got on AEW, I guess they're going to go to having a pay-per-view once a month every single year. I guess they got to find a void for January and February to fill in, because last year they did All In July, but now I guess All In is going to be more of August, because they did announce a new pay-per-view in July. I think it's called Redemption. I missed the promo for it, but when I saw them advertise it on Dynamite, I literally thought New Orleans was about to get a pay-per-view. The fleur-de-lis in the logo got me, but no, it's in Montreal. But yeah, nice way getting catfish. Thinking New Orleans getting a pay-per-view, but nah, it's in Montreal. But I might actually watch it, because there ain't going to be nothing in July except Saturday night's main event.
Yeah. Oh, you're 100% right. Get ready for SummerSlam. Get ready for, All In. Yeah, you're right. There's not going to be much going on in July.
Yeah, well, June's going to be a hectic month. August, too. Remember, August also got Lockdown. They're bringing Lockdown back for TNA, and it's the weekend of All In.
Right.
So that's $100 I'm going to be spending that weekend to watch.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I will not be spending money this weekend, because first show we're going to predict is free on either WWE's YouTube channel or their Facebook page. We got Noche de la Grande from AAA, which also means Night of the Greats in Monterey. They're only doing 4 matches for this one. Any other match they're doing the following week is just a taping of AAA. Mm-hmm. So we'll start with our first prediction. We got the AAA Cruiserweight Championship, Laredo Kid versus Rey Fenix.
Man, I'm a huge Rey Fenix guy. I don't really understand where, people say that AEW fumbled the ball with Rey Fenix. I don't know what the heck WWE's doing with him. I like the program that they've got going. I think this is going to be something that's going to last for a little while. But I'm going to say Laredo Kid retains. but it's going to be a really good match.
Well, they had a banger of a match last week that ended in chaos when he low blowed Ray Phoenix and cheated to retain. And it's crazy seeing him as a heel all of a sudden, but I get they need to build more heels these days. And now Rey Mysterio's the general manager, and he's giving Ray a rematch. And since they brought him into WWE, it's like they strapped the rocket on his brother Penta, but they're not doing shit for him. And I'm like, why don't you do something for him if you're not going to put him as a tag team? So I figured AAA is at least going to give him some credibility. And I think he's been Cruiserweight champ for a while. I know whenever WWE purchased AAA a year ago, we kind of still had the same champions within the last year, except the Mega Champ and the Tag Champs. Those are the only ones that switched hands. He still had the title. Whoever the Arena to Arenas champion is, I think she still had the title. I forgot who it was. I thought it was Lahidra, but I could be wrong. But I got Ray Phoenix winning the Cruiserweight Championship.
Okay.
And hopefully Ray gets it right. All right, then we got the Latin American Championship. We got Dr. Wagner Jr. versus Vikingo, and this has kind of been a head scratcher because if you watched Ray to Race a couple months ago, he said if he couldn't win the AAA Mega title, he was leaving AAA, and I thought he was going to go to NXT. He's back at AAA all of a sudden, hanging out with Omos.
Yeah. You're right. It's a little confusing of what's going on here. I mean, I liked Dr. Wagner, the original Dr. Wagner. I think Vikingo, he had a really big push there for a while, and I think that they're going to try and start pushing him back again. Give me Vikingo to win this one. I think he knocks off Dr. Wagner Jr. and ends up getting taking the Latin American strap.
Yeah, because he's been champion since August.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to find out what's this little trio Vikingo got with Omos and that manager he got running around with him.
Yeah.
I forgot.
I'll think of his name in a second.
But I think Vikingo wins the title as well. I think we're going to get another title change. The faction is called El Hoyo, which means the eye.
Right.
And the manager that walks with him and Omos is Dorian Ralden.
Oh, there you go.
They just call him Ralden. Like Corey Graves just calls him Ralden, but it's called El Hoyo, which means the eye in Spanish. Look, the only name that got stuck in my head was Lieska, Mr. Guana's little puppet he walks around with. If I ever get a reptile, I'm so naming it Lieska. Don't ask why. The name just caught me. It sounds catchy. I like that. If I ever get I want to get a reptile in this house. So if I get an iguana or if I get a bearded dragon, I'm naming him Lieska.
There you go.
I want a bearded dragon, but I'm scared he's gonna bite my neck and kill me in my sleep.
Well, that is that possibility. But,
I thought they only eat insects. I thought they're nice to humans if you treat them and take care of them and keep petting them. But
I think it's one of those, if they feel threatened, that they'll get you. But yeah,
I got a lot of color in the house. It shouldn't feel threatened. You just got to worry about my nephews and shit that would see them and then want to freaking grab them by the neck like they strangle them. Then he's really gonna open up like a horned frog and want to attack. All right, then we got the AAA Tag Team Championships. We got Pagano and Psycho Clown versus the War Raiders.
Yeah. I'm glad to see the War Raiders are back doing stuff. They had a little bit of a stretch there where they were away. In fact, Killian Dane, one of the War Raiders, Nikki Cross's husband, him and Nikki Cross purchased a promotion in England recently.
Nice.
But Yeah, I mean, I like the War Raiders. I just don't know if they would turn the titles over. I'm gonna say that yeah, give me Psycho Clown and Pagano to win this thing somehow, some underhanded fashion. Even though I would like to see the War Raiders win it.
See, the last time I saw them two together, they had some issues. Like they were not getting along or something, and I really didn't want them to break up as a team or Psycho Circus to just break as a faction. So I kept making me think, what if the War Raiders do win the titles and then we get that heel turn from Psycho Clown
Yeah.
on Pagano? Because I would hate to see them break up because I was excited when they beat Legado del Fantasma for the tag titles about 7-8 months ago, and they make a great team. But
Yeah.
something tells me like they've already been almost a year, and they've only had 2 or 3 title changes in a year, and they kind of want to add more title changes. So shockingly, I think the War Raiders are going to pull it off and win the tag titles.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the Psycho Clown and Pagano, these two guys remind me of remember when Shannon Moore and Jesse Neal were a tag team in TNA?
Yeah, ink.
Ink Ink, yeah. That's what these guys remind me of.
Matter of fact, I think it's Pagano that's going to be the heel, not Psycho Clown. Everyone loves Psycho Clown, especially he gets to that point where he's got like another mask under his mask. And when he rips it off, it looks like it's flesh and gut, flesh and bone.
Yeah.
I love his mask.
You're right.
I think Pagano is just strictly face paint.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Well, there was one more match to predict on this card, and it's the only match that's being advertised like it's freaking WrestleMania or something. Maybe the greatest feud I've ever seen in AAA, and I haven't watched a lot of AAA over the years, but my God, a year and a half in the making with this, all over a gimmick that started with one mid-carder that couldn't beat luchadors, so you would go to Mexico to learn the art of lucha libre. That led to an injury where they filled the void with another guy. I feel like it's Sin Cara versus Sin Cara all over again in 2011 with Kalisto and it wasn't Kalisto. It was Hunico and whoever the original Sin Cara is. I feel like it's 2011 all over again.
Right.
But we get Mass versus Mass, El Grande Americano, Ludwig, versus the original El Grande Americano, Gable. Man, I haven't been enjoying. This is the only reason why I've been watching AAA every Saturday. And if they pop up on Raw, hell yes. But you see how much this feud has been, and how in AAA, Ludwig is a damn hero for a German guy portraying a luchador. Where Gable, he's the most hated guy in Mexico, but when they're in the U.S., Gable's loved. Ludwig is kind of 50-50.
Right.
And then they're throwing, he's got the Creed brothers. We know it's the goddamn Creed brothers on the mask. And for Ludwig, it's Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, whatever their little tag team was called before they became luchadors. It's been such good shit. And, of course, if people don't know the tradition of mass versus mass, you can probably explain it better, but it's like one of the most gargantuan matches in AAA. Like the mass is like a symbol.
Oh yeah, AAA. I mean it's their identity.
And losing
it's their identity.
Losing it means you lose everything. Like you're not supposed to show your face. Like I've seen some backstory about it, and I've seen like how much the mass means to those luchadors, especially if they like could be in a match on Raw. If they get pulled it off, they're going to just take the pin but for 3 and cover their face. I've seen it happen with Rey Mysterio. I've seen it with Penta, Rey Fenix, let's say Dorado, Grand Metalik, Sin Cara. I'm just naming mass wrestlers we've had in the last 5-10 years. I've seen this happen.
Right,
but you could probably explain it better.
Well, if you remember when Rey lost his mask in WCW, that was huge. I mean, there was massive uproar in Mexico about Rey Mysterio Jr. losing his mask, because that's your identity. You're really not supposed to put the mask on ever again once you lose your mask.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, it's been accepted for Rey to do it. But yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, you may as well lose a loser leave town match for how much the mask means to these Mexican fans. The mask is what they identify the wrestlers by. And if you see wrestlers going around town, they've got their mask on.
Yep.
It's widely accepted that probably one of the most famous Mexican wrestlers of all time was a guy named Mil Mascaras.
Mm-hmm. Man of 1,000 masks.
And right. And he would shower in his mask and have a mask underneath it and take it off, take the one that got wet off and go. There are people that have known Mil Mascaras in the wrestling business for 40 years that have never seen him without his mask on.
I don't think I've ever
and
seen
have said it publicly.
I don't think
I've seen a picture. I don't know if it's legit or not, but I've seen a picture of what he looks like without his mask. But I've seen him probably 100 times on TV and that kind of stuff. And I've never even seen them try to take his mask off.
I'm gonna name another famous masked wrestler that's gonna ring a bell to you. Matter of fact, it's Vikingo's father, El Santo. No one really saw his face, and if legend is true, they said when he passed away, because he passed away like 40 something years ago, they buried him with his mask on.
With his mask, yes, he did. They did it with El Canek as well. They did.
Now, I find it funny. I find it funny too that maybe if dipshit Mysterio would have kept it on, he could have been loved in AAA. But it's funny when Dominic comes out in AAA, he never puts the mask on. But when he's on WWE for special occasions, he puts it on. Same thing with Santos Escobar. Remember, he would do and Andrade. They would put masks on in WWE, but when they wrestle in AAA, they don't have it on. You took it off over there.
Right. Well, the Andrade one was more of it wasn't necessarily the traditional Mexican mask. He had one that was like a Hannibal Lecter kind of a thing and that kind of stuff. And he had one that he would wear to the ring, kind of like what Cody Rhodes does every now and then, where he'll have that stars and stripes skull with the, and then he takes it off when he gets in the ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the mask tradition in the U.S. is completely different than the mask tradition in Mexico, or even in Japan. Yeah, it's definitely a major thing to lose your mask. It's not, okay, I lost the match and I lost this belt. No, there's guys that have lost their careers because they lost their mask.
So I'm pretty sure we're going on the same boat, but we're going to, instead of picking a winner, we're going to pick who gets unmasked.
Okay. I think Gable gets unmasked.
I think so too. I mean, Ludwig has turned this character around. Plus, remember, he won the Raider Race tournament. He got the sword. So he's going to get a future AAA Mega Championship opportunity against Dominic. I'm going to assume it'll probably be a Triple Mania because I think that's their next big show. I don't think they're doing anything else after this one. I think the next one is Triple Mania, which is also in August.
Yeah, but from what I gather, Triple Mania is supposed to be Ray's last match against Dominic.
Title versus career?
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have him just be general manager for the summer?
Because Ray has made it crystal clear on a number of occasions that he would like for his last match to be against Dominic.
Well, I'll think of something here. If they do go that route, we know Dominic's going to beat Ray. Ray's going to retire, and then the next time they have something, it could be Guardia de Titans, which is War of the Titans. If they have that, they could fight that night. Or if we do another Worlds Collide, I'm shocked they ain't doing a Worlds Collide anytime soon. I mean, eventually, El Grande Ludwig is going to be the one to take the belt off of Dominic eventually.
Probably. And it would make sense that, Dominic beats Ray, comes out, starts talking all kinds of noise about Ray and all this other stuff. And then Kaiser comes out and defends Ray and says, look, you beat a man that's 30 years older than you. How about a guy that's your contemporary that has this? And he has the sword. And he says, I've got a match against you.
But
and
when
then
we get to AAA, get to Triple Mania, what you think they're going to advertise the most? Father-son title versus career, or the return of the Lucha Brothers as a tag team? Because we were supposed to get that at Ray to Rays before one of them got hurt.
If they do Ray and Dominic, which I think they will, if they do Ray and Dominic, that could very possibly be the match of all time in AAA.
Okay.
As much as Ray is regarded in AAA and all that, yeah. And it's just in-ring career. It wouldn't be that he would lose the general managership. He could still be general manager. He would just never be allowed to wrestle again.
Yeah, he rather Sundo than Gunther. He was smart getting out of that one. But
yeah,
I'm looking forward to tonight. Watch them format. For 4 matches, you think they can drag that an hour, or you think it'll be a 2-hour show? Because they're, unlike actual WWE PLEs, they don't advertise the shit out of sponsors like TKO and them do.
I'd split the middle. I think you're looking 90 minutes.
Gable
and Kaiser will be 30 minutes by itself.
Why couldn't it be why couldn't it be mass versus mass Mexican death match or something? They're gonna beat the shit out of each other.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a really tough match, but I think that you're looking at 25 to 30 minutes for those two. The tag match, I don't think 10 minutes at most, mainly because the War Raiders can't go for 30 minutes. Vikingo and Dr. Wagner,
that might be
again,
a
probably
match. That might be a squash.
Yeah, probably 10 or 15 minutes. And then the first match, you're probably looking at, with Ray Phoenix there, you're probably looking at another 25, 30 minutes. So I would figure the show's going to be about an hour and a half.
Yeah. Well, then we got one more we're going to predict. I think I'm more hyped to see what the crowd's going to do with this one. We got Clash in Italy, which is first ever PLE in Italy. They were lucky to have a Raw or SmackDown back in the day, whether if it was in Milan or Rome. I never heard of Cheer in Italy. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure they got a good fan base. I'm pretty sure whatever soccer team they got over there, it's got a great fan base. I mean, you saw what SmackDown I only watched last night because it was in Barcelona. Barcelona fans are electric no matter what. They need to give them a damn PLE soon. And if they do, shit, go all in and go to Camp Nou. Have 70,000 people in Barcelona's soccer stadium for a PLE, unless they want to be ritual and be like, oh, let's do a PLE in the arena we just built for the greatest basketball team ever in 1992 Olympics. Like Jess Tessitore kept advertising last night on SmackDown.
Yeah, well, you got one other thing to think about, too. I mean, they do have AC Milan over, and they draw by the hundreds of thousands for those games.
Yeah. Wait, what team is this you talking about? This in Italy or this is in Spain?
They've got a team in Italy. I'm trying to remember who it is.
They got
AC Milan.
They got a league in Italy. Like the only team I know in Italy is Inter Milan, but they got like I'm pretty sure there's a team in Rome. Like they have their own league out there. Like all them,
they do.
International clubs you see like in Champions League, which I'm waiting to watch PSG go back to back. But like they all got like their own leagues, like the Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, Scottish Premiership, League One. I don't know what the league is in France, but like PSG's in on a whole nother league.
Right, but you've got two big ones in Italy, Inter Milan and AC Milan.
Inter's probably their like biggest franchise, like PSG is in France and Barcelona and Madrid is in Spain, or Celtic is in Scotland, and Premier
Hey,
League I've
guys, yeah,
always said was the
yeah,
NFL of soccer. Everyone knows every club in Premier League,
right.
but and
Anyway,
who do you consider the Dallas Cowboys of the Premier League? Manchester United or Arsenal?
who's the worst team in the Premier
No,
League?
who's the Dallas Cow? No, the worst team is Wolves. They're the more of the New York
Okay,
Jets.
there's your Cowboys.
Well, no, Wolves don't win shit. I figured Wolves was like the Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets of the Premier League. No, I'm talking about got the worst fan base. They think they win it every single year. They got trophies from back in the day. That's why people told me Manchester United was
I
more of the Cowboys. But
yeah, it
Arsenal
is. It
fans,
is.
Arsenal's worse. They think they got a
Well,
chance to beat PSG today, and there's no chance in hell. PSG going back to back.
yeah, but Man U is probably the Cowboys version of the in Premier
I
League.
love. I love them. I've became a fan of them over a fucking scene in a movie. That's how I discovered the Premier League and Manchester United.
Gotcha.
I love telling that story. That scene in Euro Trip where Scotty and Cooper go in that pub that was actually a private bar for Manchester United hooligans, and
Right.
what's his face, that famous European actor who actually played for Chelsea, was in that scene.
Right.
But let's go ahead and predict Clash in Italy before we wrap this up. Since I know I got this matchup to watch, you said you got something going on. So 5
Yeah,
matches.
I got about 45 minutes, so I got to leave. So I got a couple minutes left to go over through this thing. I was just
Well,
sending you a message about that.
well, luckily I found out the 2 matches that are going to be on the first hour on ESPN. So yeah, they're still doing this now. So we're going to do first the undisputed WWE Championship. I think this kicks off the show. Cody Rhodes versus Gunther, and it is one of the 2 matches on ESPN, but I think this will open up. So what you got here?
Yeah, and I don't understand what they're doing with why they're putting that match on free TV. If they're trying to if they're trying to drive folks into the ESPN app to see the full show. Um, I've got as weird as this might sound, I think I got Gunther winning this thing. I think it's a fit. It puts Gunther in that place. Um, and of course, we all know that we've had a return in the last week. So now we're looking at Brock being back in the picture, which goes back to the Brock and Gunther thing that I've talked about for a while. Brock's going to want the title. Well, okay, I want a shot at the title. I want a shot at the title. Okay, fine. Put your career on the line. Then we get Gunther and Brock at SummerSlam, title on the line, or title versus career. So I'm going to go Gunther.
I wouldn't mind Gunther winning, but like I've said, week after week, they're going to be advertising the shit out of Street Fighter till it hits theaters in October, and your 2 world champions right now are 2 of the main characters in that movie. So I got Cody retaining the WWE Championship.
Okay.
Then we get your second match on ESPN. By the way, every match on this card is a rematch somewhere. Cody and Gunther was a rematch from Crown Jewel, except they were fighting for that crown. I think they were fighting for the Crown Jewel Championship.
Yeah, it was champion versus champion.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought it was Seth Rollins, but I think that was the year before.
I believe you're right, yeah.
Well, this next match is a rematch from WrestleMania. We get Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship.
Yeah, and this is weird. They're putting 2 of the 3 best matches on the entire card in the pre-show. I think Rhea ends up winning this thing, and somehow Charlotte ends up helping out. And it becomes a thing where Charlotte wants the next shot at Rhea. and we end up getting Rhea and Charlotte, maybe at SummerSlam. But yeah, I think Rhea wins over Jade.
Jade
Gotta hope so.
Jade got cooked by Alexa Bliss on that promo, and I don't think she's going to recover from that. She might as well stay in 6-woman tag action with B-Fab and Michin. Rhea's going to retain, and yeah, I agree. Somewhere down the road, we're probably going to get Charlotte and Rhea at SummerSlam. Another former rematch.
Jade's not the best wrestler in her team. Michin is really good.
I was going to say Michin.
Mia Yim is really freaking good.
All right. Then the rest of the card is you got to watch on the ESPN app in the U.S. or internationally on Netflix. Here's our second WrestleMania rematch. We didn't think we were going to get. We thought he hung it up, but no, that was a spinoff. We're getting Brock Oba 2. Brock Lesnar, Oba Femi.
Yeah. If I remember correctly, Money in the Bank is between this and SummerSlam, correct?
It used to be. Now it's after SummerSlam. It's Labor Day weekend now. Don't make sense.
Yeah, but there's one in between now and SummerSlam.
It's Night of Champions, where they're also going to have a King of the Ring tournament. So
right, this is where Brock. I think Brock wins this.
Does he
simply
squash him,
so they could,
or do they make it fair?
No, he's not going to squash him.
Okay.
They're not going to cut down Oba Femi like that. It's going to be a hard fought match. Brock's probably going to do something sneaky. Or Heyman's going to do something, one or the other, and cause Oba to lose. Then you're going to have your makeup match. Then you're going to have your third match to decide it. Put that off to the side. Then you build to Brock and Gunther in SummerSlam. Unless, now here's another part of this. You let these two just kind of, and I wouldn't do this, but you have Brock win. And you put it off to the side until Brock and Gunther at SummerSlam. And then you end up with Gunther and Oba Femi. When Brock loses his career. And neither one of them wins the thing. Each one of, Brock retires with one win over Oba, and Oba has one win.
Okay, possibly. But I got Brock winning. They're gonna run it back a third time soon. I say Saturday night's main event, Madison Square Garden. That's like your only other option because this is what I'm sticking with SummerSlam. Gunther's gonna retire Brock in his hometown, and I think Oba wins King of the Ring and goes after Roman Reigns and possibly could beat Roman Reigns for that title.
Good.
They're gonna give Oba the Brock treatment. They're gonna push Oba to the freaking moon. They're gonna do the exact same thing they did with Brock. He's gonna win King of the Ring as a rookie, and then go to SummerSlam within 4 months in the company and win his first world championship. They're gonna do what they did to Brock in 2002, and I'm sticking with. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I think you're right.
Then we get a rematch from Saturday night's main event. It was supposed to be a non-title match. Now, all of a sudden, the title's on the line. We get Becky Lynch and Sol Ruca for the Women's Intercontinental Championship.
Right. I mean, I know they're pushing Sol Ruca hard. I think that this is one of those runs that we're going to see these two at each other for quite a while. Becky, I think Becky retains. I just think it's a little too early to put that IC title on Sol Ruca.
I could not agree more because I don't think she's ready yet. She just botches. She makes fuck ups. Not yet. Maybe by SummerSlam they could, if they want to run this throughout the summer, then maybe right. SummerSlam. But come on, they're in Europe. They may not be in Ireland, but Italy probably ain't that far from Ireland. This is going to kind of be like a home away from home thing for Becky because they're doing a European tour for the next week or two. So Becky's going to retain in Italy.
Yeah.
And I don't get the hate. Like, I love Becky Lynch as a heel like this, as a champ, where sharing her clothes with Seth Rollins and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna get the lawyers involved." I think this is hilarious. I love this heel version of Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
And then we get our main event, now a rematch from Backlash, but now with a twist. Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu for the World Heavyweight Championship in tribal combat, because Roman is putting his head of the table tribal chief on the line. That's why it's tribal combat, because people didn't understand what's tribal combat. That means Roman's putting that Ulafala on the line.
Yeah, that he hasn't worn in 6 months. You know, I would love to see them put the title on Jacob. I really would. Just to see what they do with it with him after the fact. There's plenty of people for Jacob to fight, whether it's Jimmy, whether it's Jay. You know, there's a lot of people that Jacob could fight. But I got, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Jacob. I don't know that it would be. I don't know that that's what's going to happen, but I'm going to go with Jacob because I think it's the best. I'm going to use a Triple H line. What's best for business would be for Jacob to have that title.
Now, is the rumors true? Like, supposedly he got injured at a house show earlier this week. You think he's really hurt, or it's a work?
I have no idea. I haven't heard anything one way or the other.
I've seen some shit on social media.
The last substantial injury I heard was Logan Paul.
Yeah, he's going to be out the rest of the year. He had a shoulder injury, but they're doing the Freebird rules, so now it's going to be Austin Theory and Braun Breaker as tag champs, according to Paul Heyman.
Right.
And,
well, yeah. And from what I read, he could conceivably be back for Survivor Series.
Hopefully. I don't know how severe.
I said it could be 6 months.
I know he won't be at Night of Champions. He won't be at SummerSlam, and he won't be at Money in the Bank in NOLA. He could be back by Survivor Series. I mean, depends how serious, if it requires a surgery or anything like that.
Well, no, they already did the surgery. They did the surgery like Tuesday.
Okay.
Because I saw a thing that Logan had posted that he was already working out.
Okay.
Real lightly, but he was working out already.
Well,
so
this is tribal. Well, back to this. This is tribal combat. Roman Reigns is 2-0 in this. He beat Jey Uso at SummerSlam for this. He beat Solo Sikoa on the Raw premiere on Netflix. This is Roman's match. He's not going to lose the tribal chief name. He's not going to lose the Ulafala he ain't worn in 6 months. He's going to make Jacob acknowledge him. He's going to retain. If anybody close to a Samoan or a tribal chief that can take him down, it's a ruler, if you know what I mean. I think it's going to be Oba, the one to take Roman down and give him the shortest reign I recall in a long time. I was going to give Roman a year, but I think he's going to lose it closer to the Street Fighter movie, and I'm still going to pick Oba to take it from him at SummerSlam.
Well, see, I was thinking that Zilla Fatu gets involved and causes Roman to lose this title.
You think Zilla's going to debut?
Could be. I wouldn't be surprised. They've been teasing it for months.
I wouldn't be surprised he goes and joins the MFT with Solo and Tama Tonga and Tala Tonga, because JC's gone and one of the other Tonga Loas is gone. I think it's Tonga. Is it Tama Tonga that's gone, or Tonga Loa's gone?
Tama Tonga's gone.
So Tama Tonga and JC.
Tama Tonga got cut, yeah. And JC Mateo got cut. Both of the Loas are there, and then, of course, Solo Sikoa.
Tonga Loa and Tala Loa, yeah. If Zilla comes, I think he goes to Solo's little MFT.
I see him going to the other side. I see him going with Jacob.
You think Jacob's going to start his own little family tree himself? You got the Bloodline, you got MFT. What do you think? What could Jacob start?
Well, the thing I'm looking at is, just so that it's not, because you've got to have, you've got to have something on the other side, and there's no other part of the Samoan dynasty on the other side. So, I mean, Zilla Fatu and Jacob are first cousins.
Mm-hmm.
Zilla is Umaga's kid.
Son, yeah.
Jacob is the Tonga Kid's kid.
Mm-hmm.
So, and those two were brothers. But, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if we see Zilla Fatu and he does something to allow Jacob to win. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Well, that's going to wrap up. I know you got to leave. The matchup just started. I'm about to get locked in on this until tonight with Noche de la Grande. But as always, this was fun. It's going to be a while before we have another prediction show, but we're going to keep you entertained within the next couple weeks. We got a little project we want to start. We're going to debut it next week. But real quick, let them know where they can find you on social media before we wrap this up.
Man, on Twitter, X, Big Rich 8371, or on Facebook, just my name, Rich Richardson. Driving to the Top Productions tonight, actually at 8:00 Central, we'll be doing baseball show, and then on Monday we'll do fans chat in the Diamond at 8:00 Central. Tuesday we do open mic with a bunch of our guys, including Marcus, from the Driving to the Top crew, and then on Wednesdays. We do Steel City Sports Talk, where Adam and I talk everything Pittsburgh sports. And I think this week we're going to try to get Marcus in there since the Pirates play the Astros this coming week.
Yeah.
So outside of that, I don't have anything going on.
Wednesday night is Paul Skeens versus Spencer Argetti. So, Argetti's kind of our new ace now with Hunter Brown still out. So, all the other pitchers we got out with injuries. So, looking forward to that. It's going to be a fun week next week. I'm gonna have I got an audio recording planned for next week with me and another guest, and then you and I will be back next Saturday. But I'm at DirtySouthENT_ on X. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. This was fun. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Y'all have a good one.
See you later.